Hey, 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 we are super excited that y'all are here. Today is our debut and we feel like we have a great show planned for y'all. I'm Cioré, everyone, and I'm joined by co-host Jonathan. And today we are introducing the stimulus, where we are talking about stimulating your mind, your business, and your legacy. You can catch us here at KBOB 89.9 FM on Mondays at noon. This is community radio where we are telling stories our way.
What's going on, family? Yeah, it's your boy Jonathan here with Cioré. So, oh man, I'm excited. It's the debut of the stimulus. So we got some good material for y'all. We're gonna be talking about entrepreneurship, and really we're just here to uplift, inspire, and empower. So I don't know. I feel like the community needs us. I feel
definitely.
I feel like they need us. So we got some things planned for y'all. Let me go ahead and talk into the mic. It's my first time, so I gotta remember. To talk into the mic. Okay. So the stimulus. So we're going to be talking about a bunch of different things. Again, we're excited. I think it's a momentous day. We get to start on none other than MLK Day.
Oh yeah, we're excited about it. Right?
Yeah, and it's no coincidence. We got to match greatness with greatness. So, y'all, we're here for y'all, and we just want to lift as y'all lift and build as y'all build. So, oh man, Cioré, who are you? Tell us about yourself.
Okay. Well, I'm super excited. I like to say my name repeatedly until people are saying it with confidence. So I'm Cioré. I actually from the Midwest. I grew up here in high school here in Tulsa and moved away for a little bit. Went to OU for college, went to Boston after that, and really started off my career. And, it's been an exciting time. I am a engineer by background. I am an author. I am a consultant. I am an entrepreneur myself. But what I can say is I've always valued pursuing entrepreneurship while I've been working full time. And I think that that's something that's really served me well. When I think about entrepreneurship and my tie and relationship with it, it's just entrepreneurship has been a way for me to express myself and to really make sure that everything that I wanted to do, I could control it. So when I wrote a book, I started my own publishing company. When I felt like I had something to offer and, give people my advice around business, I was doing consulting through my own company. And now, I'm looking forward to bringing women together and hosting events and different things like that. And so, that's also going underneath my business. But as my day job, I do focus often on teaching businesses and companies how to get funding, how to do their business plans and pitch decks in their budgets and their projections. And so I'm really excited to do the show because I feel like what I do as my profession and what I'm passionate about are really tying themselves together. What about you? What are you, what's your background?
So before we get to me, I just need y'all to know that Cioré is a big deal, y'all. So, she was almost going to skip past the point that she wrote a book, but that's huge. That's major. So, so me, I'm Jonathan Sanders. I am from Maryland originally, but grew up in Florida, Wesley Chapel to be exact, just north of Tampa. And so I went to FAMU, graduated fall 17, pledged Omega Psi Phi. From there, after graduation, you know what I'm saying, I went to work at GE Healthcare up in Milwaukee. So went from Tallahassee, Florida to Milwaukee in January. So if you want to talk about a change of pace, it was like, I don't know, like 60 or 70 in January in Tallahassee. And when I got to Milwaukee, it was literally 0 degrees. So I didn't think it could get any colder than that, but before I moved, it ended up being like -20, -30. So it was pretty cold, but it was a great experience. From there, I got promoted and then I moved on to taking on a role out here in Tulsa. So I was an imaging account manager selling medical imaging equipment for GE, covering the Tulsa territory. And, you know, it was great. I thought it was my dream job. Everything was good. Had a company car, company credit card, everything like that. So, you know, for me, I had made my way thinking I could probably stay here till retirement. I had started getting comfortable in that idea. And then COVID hit, you know, in 2020. And of course, that shook things up for everybody. And, you know, spent a lot of time sitting at home. For me, it was uncomfortable because I like to move around. I like to travel, being a traveling salesman. I was kind of bouncing around from location to location. And, you know, just sitting at home in the office gave me a lot of time to think, like, am I really living out my purpose? Am I really doing what God wanted me to do? Because I started getting the feeling like, you know, this is really not it for me. This is not it, you know. You know, that cushy corporate job was just, I don't know, it just left me not feeling fulfilled anymore. So, I got on the phone with my boy, John Ware, and he worked at GE with me, and we just started talking. You know, we just started kind of just, you know, checking in on each other. And from there, the conversation went to, bro, we can't just be sitting at home, you know, with all this extra time and not find another stream of income, another way to get money. So, you know, he honestly started, I was like, man, I would love to get involved in real estate. And he introduced the concept of real estate that showed me like we could get involved right now. It was called wholesaling. So I know some people might be familiar with that. It's a way to kind of get involved in real estate investing without necessarily utilizing too much of your own capital. So I'm like, bro, we got to go ahead and do this now. So we went ahead and started the business. It's called John & John Real Estate, LLC. And from there, we just started hustling. You know, we just started paving our way and kind of grinding. And you know, it honestly wasn't but a few weeks later from when we started that company to when I received notice that my role had been reduced at GE.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So this is new for you.
Yeah. So that was in May of 2020. And for me, it was a blessing.
Yeah.
You know, honestly, I couldn't have received better news. I took that with a smile on my face. I'm like, thank you. You know, so I pretty much was able to just go on and pursue entrepreneurship, real estate, you know, 100%. I decided like, look, I'm not going to apply for another job. I'm going to take this and run with it. Yeah. So, you know, it really just opened up a lot of doors for me, kind of took that. And then I just really realized like, man, you know, real estate is my passion. What better time to get involved in your passion than right now? You know, I feel like God has a way of putting us in situations that really work for our good. Yeah. You know, and everything happens for a reason. So I took that as a sign.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what actually is going to make both of us be really great at this show. I think this is why we're both super excited to be here, because we want to bring entrepreneurship to the community from various perspectives. And, you know, I'm super passionate about being an entrepreneur while working your full-time job, you know, being able to have stability and the balance of freedom at the same time, to be able to have options. And you're bringing to the people like, hey, you know, whether you got it figured out all the way or not, like when you're passionate about something, you can commit to that 100% of the time, and you just see what happens, you know, like, so we're approaching entrepreneurship from two different risk levels. We're approaching entrepreneurship from, you know, two different mindsets, but we also understand that entrepreneurship is big enough for both of us to thrive, for both of our stories to be accurate, and for both of us to have something valuable and meaningful to say. But before we take a break here, I just want to say thank you to everyone that is tuning in right now. I'm super excited that y'all have joined us for the debut. We have Prima Donna on the line. We have Corey Taylor on the line. You know, Kayla from Dallas is on the line. Girl, I am so happy that you're here to support us. And then we have our girl Drea on the line. So thank you for y'all supporting us today. We are getting ready to go into our very first break, so y'all stick with us. We are here at KBOB 89 FM, Black on Black Community Radio. We are super excited. Y'all are tuned into The Stimulus with Cioré and Jonathan, and we will be right back here in a second.
Now, in your life's blueprint, be sure that you have that a principle of somebodyness. Secondly, in your life's blueprint, you must have as a basic principle the determination to achieve excellence in your various fields of endeavor. You're going to be deciding as the days and the years unfold what you will do in life, what your life's work will be. And once you discover what it will be, set out to do it and to do it well. And I say to you, my young friends, that doors are opening to each of you. Doors of opportunity are opening to each of you that were not open to your mothers and to your fathers. And the great challenge facing you is to be ready to enter these doors as they open. Ralph Waldo Emerson, the great essayist, said in a lecture back in 1871 that if a man can write a better book or preach a better sermon or make a better mousetrap than his neighbor, even if he builds his house in the woods, the world will make a beaten path to his door.
Powerful.
Powerful, powerful, powerful.
Powerful. I mean, who better than MLK? So, I mean, just thinking about that, you know, excellence. Excellence. That word just means so much to me. You know, there's no better time than now. And we all have opportunities placed in front of us. There's doors open that weren't here before.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So whenever he talked about, you know, there's opportunities available to us now that weren't here for our parents, you know, and our parents' parents. I think it's super powerful just to watch how much the world has changed and how much, you know, opportunity is in front of us now that's never been before. And I think one thing that I like to say about entrepreneurship all the time is entrepreneurship is more accessible now than it has ever been. Entrepreneurship now is evolving in its definition for us to be able to say, like, you know what, not only certain types of people get to be entrepreneurs. If I want to be an entrepreneur, I get to do that. And, you know, I really love that we played this video that's honoring, you know, Martin Luther King Jr., because today we are honoring him. And I think that so much of his work really set a pathway for us to be able to dream today. And so when I think about, the show, The Stimulus, and like what we're really envisioning for ourselves, I think we're envisioning bringing information to the people because we have a dream that everybody feels that they could be a part of this elusive group or this exclusive group. I feel like we have a dream that by people tuning in and getting connected with us, we'll be able to show and highlight resources in the community that not everyone constantly has access to or even knows about. And I also believe that something that I'm personally dreaming for this show is that people will look at us and our stories and realize that it's not about perfection. It's about getting started. And it's about transparency.
Absolutely.
Because I always believe that when you give good people the opportunity to do good, they usually take it. But a lot of times people don't know how to support you when they don't know what you're working on.
Right.
You know, just how do we encourage and inspire people to say, like, it's okay to try. Like, it's okay to be vocal about you have goals, you have dreams, and you want to figure out how to do those things within your own independence, within your own freedom, within your own ability to just, you know, like make things happen, because that is where, you know, our satisfaction in life and fulfillment in life and, you know, just like that energy that we need to be our best selves really comes from. And I think that we're going to really be able to tee it up nicely for folks and our listeners and people in the community to be able to really be a part of the work that we're trying to, you know, describe and champion.
Absolutely. And I just feel like we owe it to ourselves.
Yeah.
We owe it to ourselves. We owe it to our parents, our grandparents. We owe it to all the people that came before us, especially being, you know, young and Black. We owe it to our community to pursue our dreams.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, so many people before us, they had to work that 9 to 5 because there really weren't options available. You know, there wasn't a whole platform as to where any idea that you have, you can ultimately monetize it and, you know, make a living for yourself. So we really owe it to ourselves to pursue our dreams. And not only that, just to fulfill ourselves as humans. You know, we owe it to ourselves to live the best life that we can, you know, to be able to really just wake up every day and enjoy doing what you do, to really have something to look forward to. And you can kind of plant those same seeds in future generations. And, you know, while you're doing that, you're also you're making that inspiration for the rest of the community.
Yeah,
You know?
and also championing your legacy at the exact same time, right? Because a lot of things that you and I have been discussing around why we even wanted to name the show The Stimulus in the first place is because, yeah, we want to stimulate people's business and let folks know that they can, but we also want to stimulate people's mindsets, because when people start thinking differently about what is within their control to change their lives and their means to live, that also begins to stimulate their legacy. You know.
Yeah. And I mean, that legacy lasts forever. You know, as entrepreneurs, you know, the way you look at it is you're not playing for today or tomorrow. You're playing for future generations. You're playing for your bloodline, you know, for generations to come.
Yeah. So. And I think, you know, we're going to be talking a lot about entrepreneurship and a lot about like business ownership and a lot about, you know, like starting businesses. But I feel like a lot of times when we talk about entrepreneurship, it just seems like a buzzword and not a lot of people know what it means. So, you know, John, you know, tell us, what is your definition of entrepreneurship, or one that, you know, you really enjoy?
So a definition that we, you know, found a little earlier is an entrepreneur is an individual who creates a new business, bearing most of the risks and enjoying most of the rewards. The entrepreneur is commonly seen as an innovator or source of new ideas, goods, services, and businesses or procedures.
Yeah, so I feel like what I heard you say is an entrepreneur is just someone who creates.
Yes.
You know,
someone that creates, someone that innovates.
Someone who's willing to take risk, you know. Absolutely. And that could be anyone. You know, those are personal choices that we make. And so what I want to, you know, really like debunk right away is that you have to fit a certain type of profile in order to be an entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't believe that's true. You know, I don't know if you believe that's true, Jonathan. I think we both ascribe to the idea of whatever you want to do, you can do. And we are here to equip and resource you to be able to make that happen.
Yeah. So, you know, some myths that I feel like we should just go ahead and throw out the window right now.
Right.
If someone ever said an entrepreneur is just an exclusive group of people.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that's one thing that we want to like hammer down so often, because I have watched videos that say, you know, like you either are an employee, you're either self-employed, maybe you just like own a business, but it's not technically entrepreneurship unless you have multiple sources of income. It's not entrepreneurship unless you can take off when you want to, if you have a certain number of employees. And it really just makes it seem like if you're only doing a little bit, then it's not enough. And then I also feel like that gets into your mindset to make you feel like, dang, well, if all this hard work that I'm putting in is not enough, then why should I keep trying? When, you know, we don't believe that at all. We believe that there's a spectrum of entrepreneurs who are out there. And I think a little bit about our show is we are going to be bringing folks across the spectrum to come and highlight what entrepreneurship could look like for different people.
Yeah. And that's really as to why us as co-hosts, you know, we kind of show both ends of the spectrum. Yeah. You know, we show people, we both been involved in the corporate environment. You know, one of us still involved, and the other just, you know, kind of out here deciding to take on that risk, you know, kind of deciding to just be like, you know what, I'm gonna go full force with having my own idea. So, you know, being an entrepreneur is something that you have to really just decide. You have to really make that decision first. Yeah. And say, this is something I'm gonna do. Yeah. You know, whether the outcome, and really you'll never find out what that outcome is if you don't first jump and take that chance.
Well, I think that that's a good segue into another thing that we've kind of talked about being a myth of entrepreneurship, is that you have to have special skills in order to win or be successful.
Right. And with that, you have to think, anyone that we look up to, anyone that's successful right now that has massive success, at one point in time in their life, they didn't have that.
Yeah, for sure.
They had to figure it out. They had to fail a couple of times before they really were able to come into their own and really be able to realize that success. So in order to really get what you want out of life, in order to really achieve your dreams and your goals, you have to first try and you have to fail a couple times.
Well, another thing that I think about this idea around that you have to have certain special skills in order to win is I think some of the best entrepreneurs are the folks who think outside of the box. They think about a problem that needs to be solved, and then they go and find someone who can solve that problem. And then they just kind of create a business transaction where they're facilitating the person who's solving the problem with the person who needs the problem solved. And it may not even be their skill to begin with, but they have taken ownership of solving the problem. And I would say like that is the myth. The myth is not that you have to have certain skills in order to be an entrepreneur. I think the truth of that is you have to be able to say, like, I'm willing to take the risk to try to bring the solution and the person with the problem together. And if I'm able to do that, no matter whether I have the skills or not, like people are going to find value in that. You know, I think I've heard people say people don't really care if you can like how you solve their problem. They just care that you can solve their problem. And I think like that's one benefit or one feature that, you know, successful entrepreneurs do well is they realize I'm going to help someone solve this problem, whether I know how to do it or not.
And the ones that make a lot of money is they create a problem that you didn't know that you had and they go ahead and solve it for you. You know, before we had the Amazons of the world, we didn't realize that we needed to have things delivered to our door in 24 to 48 hours.
Oh my gosh. I just ordered something on Amazon the other day and I thought that they had 2-day shipping. And when I was ordering it, it was like, it could be here tomorrow. And I was like, you know what? Actually, I do need it if I can get it tomorrow.
Amazon will have it to your door before you even press the buy button and be like, how did you even know that? I didn't confirm that I really wanted this yet. You know, they have it to your door that fast. So I mean, and Jeff Bezos, you know, he's up there with Elon.
Right.
You know, those are two entrepreneurs that they created a problem to solve. You know, Elon Musk, he's back and forth between being the richest man in the world right now because he decided like, hey, I want to do something for the environment. You know, we're using up too much gas. We have all these emissions going into the atmosphere. Let's look into battery powered cars that they're on their way to being autonomous. Yeah. You know, and now he's making billions and billions of dollars, and I'm on my way to getting a Tesla as well. You know, you'll see me one in a little bit. So
okay, so we have a few more here, you know, and then we want to give people time to like get a break a little bit. But what about this myth that, you know, if you don't have that, people don't have enough time and money to be entrepreneurs? What do you think about that?
I feel like it sounds like an excuse to me. You know, and that's a great way to just, if you don't feel like doing it, then just say that. But don't come up with a reason as to convince yourself I shouldn't do this. Yeah. That's like telling yourself the gym's too far away. You know, so you really want to, if it's something you want to do, first I would at least say look it up. Ask somebody.
Researching is free.
You can get on Google all day. You know, instead of scrolling through Instagram, scroll on Google, look up some resources. There's plenty of ways to find out what you need and go ahead and pursue your goals and your dreams. And
another thing I think about like time and money is like everyone has to start somewhere. You know, how can you do just enough work to get a minimum viable product, you know, an MVP where someone can see your vision, take it out of your head, put it on a piece of paper, you know, let your process be transparent, let people know like what your goals are, you know, invite people in your journey with you, and you will find that you will start to have more time and more resources and, you know, maybe even get donations for money, maybe even learn, you know, how to get mentors along the way, maybe even find someone who will, you know, coach you on how to get funding. Like all you have to do is get started and put yourself out there. You know, it's not really a means of time and money. It's really a means of like effort and transparency, if you ask me.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm big on just putting things out into the universe. Yeah. You know, if it's something that you want to do, you know, incorporate it into everything that you do. Whenever you have a conversation with someone, whenever you're just talking, if somebody asks you how you're doing, I'm doing great. I'm thinking about starting a business. You know, if there's something at all that you want to accomplish, speak it into existence, put it out into the universe. You know, make sure that the people around you, like you said before, know what you're doing. And then maybe somebody that you had no idea is involved in something, they could put you in the right direction or connect you with the right people to kind of like, you know, push you forward.
Yeah, and I think we don't have to go into it too much, but another myth that we, ascribe to is that like people like to believe that no one's going to support them. And that's sometimes the reason why folks don't get started. And basically, based off of everything that we said here today, is it's about taking the risk to be transparent. Someone will find you, but you can't be afraid of rejection or hearing no. But the last one that we thought that we wanted to bring up today is that entrepreneurship is not for everybody. Some people say, well, I tried it and I just don't think it's for me. What do you think about that?
Well, I feel like it's some truth and some myth to that.
Okay. You know what? Because you said it like that, we are going to talk about that whenever we get back. But everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to the debut of The Stimulus. We are super duper excited that y'all are here. Y'all are being joined by Cioré and Jonathan, and y'all are listening to KBOB 89.9 FM, Black on Black Community Radio, where we tell stories our way. We will be back in just a second, and stay tuned. Yo, we are back. Y'all are tuned in to The Stimulus Radio with Cioré and Jonathan. We are super excited that you all are here. And, we are just tying up with the last thing that you just said right before the break, Jonathan. You had talked to us about how you thought that there was a little bit of truth in this idea that entrepreneurship is not for everyone. Tell us more about that.
A little bit, yeah. So I don't want to say that and just, have everybody thinking like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do it. But it goes back to you making that decision. What do you want to do? What do you want out of life? And what are you comfortable with? Being an entrepreneur, this is something that you really want to make sure that you're aligned with your mindset. You want to make sure that you are really to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
You're willing to kind of put yourself out there and say, hey, I may or may not have all the answers, but this is something I want to pursue. You want to make sure that you have the perseverance and you have the drive to be able to kind of go after some things. As an entrepreneur, you're not going to have somebody kind of telling you what to do every single day. You got to go figure it out. You kind of got to go beat the streets and go make something happen.
But I feel like that is more of a choice of you choosing not to put in the effort and the work that it takes to be an entrepreneur. That is not saying that you can't if you really wanted to. I think when you kind of say this idea of, entrepreneurship's not for everyone, it's like, no, it is for everyone, but you have to be willing to put in the work. Like you have to be willing to, take the steps that are necessary in order for you to have good customer service, put your website together, sell your product or your business until you're able to build a team, actually have the energy to stay up at night and work on your product or your service or your idea when everyone else is out. If you decide that entrepreneurship is not something that you want to put the energy and effort in, like you can't blame it on entrepreneurship. You really have to blame yourself.
Right. And I agree with that 100%. And that's why it comes to, making that decision. You want to make sure that this is something that you have to really have to decide. Am I going to go all in? Am I going to dedicate myself? Am I going to make sure that this happens? And am I going to be okay with, shortcomings? So absolutely. I mean, everyone is 100% capable. I definitely would never doubt that, but it's a matter of, is this something that I'm willing to do? Am I willing to sacrifice?
Yeah. So I think like that's a good transition into, it's Martin Luther King Day. We have been talking about, what he's inspired from us, but I think we've also learned a lot from him that relates to entrepreneurship. And I think we just want to hit on 5 different areas that, really relate to the energy and the experience and the expertise that we want to bring to the show. And one of the things that we learned from Martin Luther King is to just refuse to be satisfied, not insatiable, because I think that there is a difference when it's like nothing ever satisfies you and you're always looking for a reason to complain. You're always looking for a reason to create an excuse. You're always looking for a reason to blame somebody else for why you can't do what you want to do. That is what it means to be insatiable. But to never be satisfied is to say, right now I'm working this 9 to 5 and I really feel like I want to be able to make more money for myself. And so, you know what? I'm not going to just settle for this is the life that I'm supposed to be living. I am actually going to go out and I'm going to explore and I'm going to create and I'm going to go see what else is out there for me. I think so often we run into these situations where we feel like, you know, we have to settle for the life that we have been living or that we've been presented with because maybe, you know, we have a lot of kids. Maybe we've never been to college before. Maybe, you know, we just don't have extra money to spend on creating logos and creating websites. And we will try to tell ourselves that, you know, there are all these barriers that are keeping us from being able to be as satisfied with life as we like to be. And I think what we learned from Martin Luther King is there's always more. There's always better. You know, we just have to be willing to go after it. So never be satisfied is one of the things that I know that we learned from him. What's something that you think that we've taken away from MLK as it relates to entrepreneurship?
Yeah, so you definitely want to empower your followers.
Yeah.
So, you know, MLK can be considered one of the greatest leaders of all time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he definitely had a dream. He had a vision, and he inspired that. And that's something that a leader has to do. You have to have the dream, and you have to really just be able to have a team of people, a group of people that you're able to kind of say, hey, this is what I'm seeing, and you know, inspire them to go after that. And there's a level of leadership that comes into entrepreneurship. You know, eventually you'll probably be running your own company, and there may be people reporting to you. You might be leading a team of people, and this is your vision, this is your idea, and you've kind of got to put it in their head and have them believe. You got to inspire that same amount of passion that you have for whatever your product, good, or service is, and then have your team of people out there kind of going chasing that dream just as hard as you.
Yeah.
You know, it's something very powerful in that, and that something is also, you know, I could almost also talk about how that affects the community as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, kind of just almost making it into a movement. You
Yeah.
know, a lot of entrepreneurs, they kind of inspire their own movement, whether that be a clothing line, whether that be just a brand that you're working on, or again, something that is, it might be skincare, hair care, you know?
Yeah. And I think it's mindset too, because I think that's why people are able to rally such a following on social media, especially ones where they're sharing their knowledge and how they thought about it and their opinions. You know, we see people all of the time just getting on sharing their perspective. People are getting rich off of sharing their perspective
Right.
and building their tribes. So we definitely know that building your following is a major pillar of entrepreneurship.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you also want to understand that strong partnerships lead to success.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, when we think about Dr. King, he honestly, he not only believed in the equality of Black people, but brown people and people of all creeds and colors.
Mm-hmm.
He was fighting for the progression and the movement of humanity.
Yeah.
He was a driving force as to why we all have equal rights. And he had to get together with LBJ to work on the Civil Rights Act. So that's a partnership that still stands today, that we still see dividends, and it's helping drive us forward. And that's how we're really able to have opportunities to pursue our goals and our dreams. Having those partnerships, you know, it can be us working with other leaders in the community, other business people, kind of collaboration. You know, it's a lot that really goes into that.
And I also think that when you think about partnerships, a lot of people think that you need to bring your friends into your business, you know,
Mm-hmm.
or the best partners are going to be people that you already know. When I find that a lot of times the strongest partnerships are not the people that you have lots of history with.
Right.
In fact, that can make it real messy
Right.
because
Right.
y'all feel that y'all just want to give one another the benefit of the doubt versus keeping at the forefront that this is business. So, you know, one of the things that I found are some of the, you know, best partnerships are you finding people who have the same mindset and mentality as you, the same type of goals, the same reasons why, you know, the same level of persistence and tenacity, you know, the same level of, you know, I have to make this happen no matter what. You know, it can't just be someone who knows you and knows that you're passionate. They have to share that same passion for themselves in order to really be a strong partner. Or it has to be something that yields a win-win situation, right? Because sometimes partnerships are not people that you know, And maybe y'all don't have the same mindset, but maybe it's mutually beneficial for y'all to work together, you know?
Absolutely. And, that kind of goes into the next pillar of having total commitment. So we could really tie in partnership and commitment together, because a lot of these business endeavors, you're going to want to work with someone because you can balance each other's strengths and weaknesses, and you can help build for something, much bigger than yourself. And you want to make sure that yourself and whoever you do go into business with, you both are committed and you both have the same drive, as you said, the same goals. Being able to just work through this, being able to kind of give up nights and weekends, being able to go after something until, like, with relentless effort.
Yeah.
Almost being crazy in a sense, as to where you have a goal that you won't stop until you realize that goal.
Yeah. And I think like that leads us to the fifth point. The fifth point is what we learned from LK is that you have to be willing to have radical transparency. Radical transparency in your process, especially where we are in today's time. People are showing everything on social media all the time. And we wonder, how is it that, people who may not have all of the credibility or the competency are, really winning at this whole selling their products, selling their goods, being a business owner. We wonder, how are these folks winning? And they're up here showing how they're failing constantly. And, it's how they say, like, people don't buy products. They buy people. They buy stories. They buy like concepts and beliefs and missions, like they want to buy into the good that they think that you're doing. And if they feel like, they just want to support you winning because they know that you've been failing, and, now they are invested in like your happiness too. Like, that is how you build your customer base. It's through that radical transparency. I do believe that there are things in wisdom that you should keep to yourself, but for the most part, letting people see that everything in entrepreneurship isn't peachy, that everything isn't beautiful, and sometimes it gets messy, and sometimes it gets hard, and sometimes you want to give up, and sometimes you feel like you're all alone. But you keep your head down. You have that total commitment that you said, and you've been transparent about it. I feel like it only makes your wins much sweeter, and it helps people to be able to share that energy with you whenever you do have a win, even if it's small. I say I love celebrating small victories, but you empower people to be able to celebrate all those small milestones with you whenever you are bringing them along through your process.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And with that radical transparency, you really build a level of trust.
Yeah.
You build a level of trust that is relatable, because honestly, as people, despite our backgrounds, we more than likely are going through some of the same things. We have a lot of the same goals. We have a lot of the same visions. And when you can say, hey, this person is out there pursuing their dreams, I trust them. This is somebody that I can relate to, and I see myself in this person.
Oh yeah.
You said it best when you said we don't necessarily buy the products or whatever the service is. We really work with those people. We really buy from those people.
Yes, definitely. So I'm excited that we got to dive into a little bit of what lessons we learned from MLK that are still relevant today. I think that we're going to be learning a lot of lessons that, people that we admire in history and today have been teaching us. And we're going to explore those, in the next few episodes of The Stimulus. But with that being said, we are getting ready to go into our next break. Just know that y'all are listening to The Stimulus on KBOB 89.9 FM, Black on Black Community Radio. This is Cioré and Jonathan, and we will see y'all in a few minutes. So it's been an exciting show. It's been an exciting show, and I can't believe the time feels like it's just been going by so fast. But I'm actually really glad that we got to talk a little bit about ourselves today, and a little bit about our philosophy of entrepreneurship, and a little bit about like why we feel that we should be here, why we feel like this show is relevant right now, and why we feel that this is not something that's just relevant today, but it's been relevant for all of history up until now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, we're really here to help others. You know, we really are here to cater to all different groups of people. You know, we're really here to want to make sure that we can empower those entrepreneurs that are looking to start their own business. And we know that there's probably people out there that they want to start a business.
Yeah.
They want to have something up to call their own, but maybe they don't even have an idea yet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're just waiting on that spark. They're just waiting on something to kind of just drop in their head. And hopefully, you know, with us, we can kind of provide that inspiration. We have a lot planned coming up. I'm excited. You know, with the stimulus, we want to bring on a whole range of guests.
Yeah.
So we got a lot planned for y'all. So we're gonna have some business, some local people in the community, some local business owners.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have some people that are in politics that kind of come in and talk about what that means to them. Some musicians. We got a lot planned. So with the stimulus, I just really hope that we're able to really be the voice of entrepreneurs, be the voice of people that really want to make a change, and be the voice of people that really want to do something in the community.
And I'll tell you this. I will tell you one thing that I feel is super real about us is that we plan on keeping it real. We plan to.
What else can we
do? We plan on telling people what we know. Mm-hmm. We plan on being honest about what we don't know. We plan on committing ourselves to find out information that, you know, people believe are important, or if someone asks us questions, you know, we're taking it upon ourselves and being responsible for going to get the answer so that we can be a one-stop shop really to learn everything as it pertains to, you know, mindset, the way that we live, how relationships impact entrepreneurship, like how our confidence impacts, you know, entrepreneurship, how our education does, you know, like everything's not about like going to college and getting degrees, but we must educate ourselves in order to really be able to build up that following of people who trust us. You know, I think that what we have coming up for this show is going to be so powerful and so dynamic. You know, one thing we've talked about is we want as many people as possible to see themselves reflected in our show. Another thing I'm really excited about is we've talked about even giving small businesses and new entrepreneurs coaching on, you know, shows like every quarter. And so we're really looking forward to people just interacting with us and telling us what they have going on in the community and really being able to highlight them. And so one thing that I can say, if y'all are listening, if y'all are tuned in, if y'all have a business or a perspective around entrepreneurship that you feel like is unique or that you feel like, you know, does not get talked about enough in the community, we totally want you all to reach out to us. Reach out to us. Let us know your idea. You can reach out to us on Facebook. You know, we're always going to be showing our Facebook lives on both of our streams. You can reach out to us on Instagram. You know, my Instagram handle is Cioré Taylor. That's C as in Charlie, IORE. Last name Taylor, TAYLOR. You have Jonathan Sanders. Go ahead and spell out your Instagram handle for us.
Yeah, that's _ Jonathan Sanders. That's JONATHAN Sanders. So we really look forward to hearing from y'all. You know, same name on Facebook as well.
Yeah.
Don't forget that. And we really look forward to hearing from y'all. We do this for y'all.
Yeah.
We're here for y'all, and we really want y'all to be as much a part of this show as we are. So we want to build a community of people around us, and we really want to, again, be able to kind of bring your ideas into the stimulus. So if y'all are listening to the show and there's like, I want y'all to talk about this. What about, you know, how does this portray and how does this play into entrepreneurship? Hit us up. Let us know. If you see us around in Tulsa, you know, stop us. Say, hey, you know, what's up? I like y'all show. Yeah. So we got something special for y'all.
And thank you to everyone who tuned in today.
Absolutely.
Like, we cannot say how happy it made us to read you all's comments, to read you all's support, to read that you guys are like believing in us and y'all believe that we can do this. And so like, stick with us, rock with us.
So y'all, it's been real. None other than Cioré and Jonathan presenting the stimulus to us. It's been the debut.
The debut
MLK Day. What better way to get started? So we got a real exciting 2021 coming at y'all, and I hope y'all rock with us for the long haul. We plan to be here, none other than KBOB 89.9, Black on Black Community Radio. We love y'all, and we hope to see y'all again next week, Monday at noon.
Monday at noon.
Fire it up. You got that on music? Yep. There you go.